Indeed we go. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you with podcast number 264 with Dan from DGC Grading and Market Smart from from DGC Grading. No longer Go Collect.
A little bit of both.
Okay, a little bit of both. We'll be talking about the VeVe digital collectibles, the grading there, maybe some other platforms, maybe like Candy, maybe some stuff that has yet to come out, OMI DACAT, and all that jazz. And how you guys doing?
Doing very well. Yeah. Very getting near to Christmas over here in the UK. I don't know what it's like in the States and Canada, but it gets to this point in the year where trees start going up, shops start celebrating a little bit more. So I've got 3 very young daughters who are all getting very festive around me as well. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, there's some I like the old traditional ways where it's like get through Thanksgiving. Once Thanksgiving's over, it's Christmas time. I like that. But you have some people like November 1st, they like skip over Thanksgiving and they're just like Halloween or they're like Halloween's dead. It's Christmas, baby Jesus time for 2 months. And I hate it. I hate Christmas music. I feel like I'm not a Grinch, but I feel like a Grinch because I hate Christmas music. And I don't know. I saw people when I was younger that would like try to show off and be like, okay, let me put myself into massive credit card debt to show off for these family members that oh yeah, I can get you this. And then they're like struggling for like half a year after that. And like, that was the stupidest thing. I have very bad memories about Christmas. Anyway.
We try and shorten it. We have a rule in our house because nothing goes up, no conversation, no Christmas music until November 12th. We respect November the 11th every single year. And so Remembrance Day is a big deal for us in the house, and so after that, then it's massive. The wife, everything is up there now.
It has to be. I would have put my house on it, Randy, that you would be a big Christmas man, because for us, like in the UK, we don't give thanks. I don't know why. We just have no Thanksgiving at all. But then when it gets into this time of year, it's usually a big shift in our culture here. But yeah, my household, we're massive Christmas. I've got Michael Bublé already playing in the car. You know, it's game on.
Yeah. Good Canadian kid, right?
Yeah, very good Canadian.
There's a couple of Christmas songs I really like. They're kind of newer. Well, one's an old song, but it's redone. Gerard Way has an "All I Want for Christmas" song, like from My Chemical Romance, and he just sings it, but his own way. And then you have Dropkick Murphys have a song like I think This Time of Year or Christmas, whatever, and those are really good. I like those. But I've been to Europe a lot, and you guys don't really do Halloween, do you? Like I feel like there is, but not a lot.
No, when I was a kid, it used to be more celebrated, but you always looked at what you would do over in the States, like the E.T. movie and things like that, and you were like Halloween on steroids versus what we do in the UK. But where I live, we're quite near a US Army base in the UK, so you have a lot of US residents around here. So you tend to get a better feel for it around here. I think with a lot of things in the UK, you just find that it's. Can we swear on your channel? Is swearing allowed?
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
Get
okay,
it.
Yeah. I won't go too extreme, but yeah, it's just basically like a piss poor version of the US. That's how I find the UK with any form of entertainment or anything that's going to a theme park, something like that. It just doesn't really stack up versus our US counterparts.
We got to get you over here. Halloween is big here. Like we live in a neighborhood with a lot of kids. We've got people that put 10, 20-foot statues, animatronics. There's music. There's fake smoke, and all the parents go out. We walk around and bump into each other, and all the dads have bags of beer and all. It's a wild night. It's a lot of fun. But and Shakin' Stevens, by the way, Merry Christmas, everyone. One of my favorite all-time Christmas songs. I used to listen to that with my dad, and good pick. That's a great one. He does a couple of live ones on video and on YouTube too. They're just fun to watch. So yeah,
there's Halloween's a big one for me because it was a chance to get free candy, and then Mischief Night back in the day, egging places, TP in places, and then now I don't know, now it's fun because once you kind of got into like high school, then it was like the kind of the party thing, and that only like accentuated. Like now, like there's like younger teens that are like trying to party. It's like, bro, just do your math homework or something. Like, be a kid. So it's fun to see like, oh, you're still like 14, 15. You're still trick or treating. Yeah, here's extra candy. Here's a full size Snickers bar. Like that does my heart good. And also, I like spooky stuff. I like horror, and Halloween's best time.
Yeah.
What about do you do carol singing in the US? Is that something that happens?
Some do. And there's if they're like kids, if they're like, yeah, cool, like, let me get you some money, or whatever. Maybe this is just a me thing, and maybe I should work on it. But if you're like older, I don't want to. I don't know. I feel like it's cool for kids to do for like extra money, but if you're like late 20s, early 30s, or like older, and I don't know, it gets a little like, I don't almost like the Disney adults, but not like the no, oh hey, we're gonna go to Disney. Like, I just went to Disney recently, but like the Disney, like, it almost gets a little weird, and I don't entertain that. I was like, I'm good, and I don't like slam the door. I was like, oh, thanks guys, and then
we don't get the seniors coming around doing it, 'cause you're right, that would be a bit strange. But I think when I was a kid, it would almost be like a business gig. You were going out just to get a few pound coins from singing some naff Christmas carols, probably 8, 9 years, 10 years old. But you know, you would still have that family that would give you like a tangerine as the gift, and it's like, yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah, like, oh god, if you those people, I don't know if this happens anymore. I think they learned, but when you had like adults give you like an apple or something on Halloween, that's the house you'd be egging. Like, get out of here, Flanders. Like,
oh yeah, the boxes of sunripe raisins. If you remember those tiny little boxes.
Yeah.
Dude, what am I gonna do with this?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they just hated kids, and that's how they got their sick jollies.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what? If that was that respect, if you didn't like his, that was your way of getting back at him. Like, you're fighting the good fight. I respect the game, respect the pettiness. So we got, how much time do you guys have? I don't want to go on for 6 hours.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Probably won't need that, but yeah, I've
okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So we'll get into it. I've had, well, I wasn't interviewing Marcus Marr. He interviewed me for Go Collect, but we've had this time on camera before. But Dan, where did your collecting journey begin? I guess a little bit on the physical, and then digital. When that happened as well.
Well, I'm an 80s kid, so growing up in the UK, I'd say my collecting journey probably started when I was about 6 years old. It would have been Garbage Pail Kids was a big thing. You had the World Cup Italia 90, the football, which was big in the UK. So I remember collecting like the little sticker cards and things like that. And then there was Pogs, WWF wrestling figures. Like it was the whole shebang. So I think I was very into collecting at an early age. But then, like you alluded to, Randy, I think you get to that point in your life. Mine was probably early teens, and football, girls, everything else takes over, and then collecting doesn't become cool anymore. So I think what's been great with VeVe and the digital side is it's just completely rekindled that obvious fire that I had in me with digital collecting or collecting in general. So I've been on the app since late 2021, probably originally coming more from an investment standpoint, but then stayed very much for collecting. So that's pretty much my journey. But obviously I'm DGC. I also go under the California Comics banner, which is, as Dan Carruthers kindly put at in Vegas, the world's first metaversal comic book store in the VeVeverse, which is pretty cool. And then Chris is my partner of California Comics as well. So.
Hell yeah. There was, I think it was at I forget what website it mentioned. I think it might have been Collectors Gone Digital. They had highlighted California Comics as well for that stuff. For like the metaverse that they helped build, and they had California Comics on there. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I think that was Chris actually. That was your article, Chris, maybe the Go Collect one.
That was the first one. So when I heard what Daniel was doing and getting that all set up and Collectors Gone Digital doing the build and all that, that was really compelling because this whole space it's about showcasing your fun, your passion with all this stuff, right? And so it's always neat too when you're the first of something. And so that was something I wanted to get into Go Collect just because it's traditionally measuring, tracking graded sales of physical assets. Everything from comics and artwork and posters, of course, recently Pokemon, Randy, which, we chatted about, which is a big deal for them. It's an enormous collecting industry, but as is the digital space now. It's as much of an entity as any physical asset you could ever imagine. And I thought, man, this is really neat. And it's great content. You're always looking for something because putting anything in writing these days is a little more difficult than doing things on video because nobody has time to read. And so if you can't capture something in about 100 words, your readership just kind of plummets, right? And so, but it was so compelling that I wanted to write about the story of how that came to be and what this means. And if you're in the space, we get it. If you've been a physical collector, you've got books all over your place. Your walls are maybe adorned with them. You've got slabs and all that kind of stuff. Like you want to show your pieces off to the people that would appreciate them. And we're now able to replicate that in this world. And I thought, yeah, this is fun. This is fun. So
we're gonna do something like that with the cat, where we'll have a physical and we'll have a like almost like a Kickstarter. Be like, hey, the first 10 people to donate this amount of money will get a unique cover signed and all that, and then we'll have X amount of them. But then we're probably going to do something where if you get the secret rare, there should be like 81 secret rares, or if you get that, we'll take a snapshot. And whatever the snapshot is, we'll send you out a physical copy.
That's cool.
We might not need to do that because it should sell out, but how many of the reason I bring that up is because I want to know how many people have a digital comic that you guys have graded that they also have a physical comic in that same grade. Does that exist yet?
It almost existed. So the most recent one was Charlie Fisher. You might have seen it at D.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He got gifted the ASM 252, the ultra rare cover, and I think he got gifted a 9.8 CGC. I think the Mint Hunters gifted it when I was there. So we actually graded his digital equivalent of that, but he got a 10.0 because it was a certain mint that achieved that. So
my God.
So
what's it take to get a 10.0? Like what? Like how does that happen? Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah, price. No, it's we've so the way we've set it up, we've got different coloured labels which specify different collecting categories. So, for example, we graded today the Dan and David the Decon 21 desk. So Inform Mint has got Mint 21. So we grade that as a 10.0, being the reference back to Decon 2021. So what we do, we'll analyze each piece, and we'll have up to 6 10.0s available depending on how the edition run is done, and it will be historical dates, key dates, reference points. It could be sequential. So the formula will almost evolves per item. But yeah, so.
Yeah. They're rare. Like we share them on socials, of course, because it's really exciting, and then the owners will often reshare and post and whatnot. So it sometimes seems like there might be a lot of them because everybody is, of course, submitting their best of best to get it done. Right? But you won't. Eventually, you're going to see a lot more, 7.0s and 8.5s and everything that you would see in the physical space, which again have incredible value and incredible meaning, and which we probably will talk about too. Some people just want to have them slabbed, not necessarily graded, just because they look great. There's all kinds of different angles the way that we do this, but you know, I think Wampamus had a great comment, right? The displaying what's special about the mint numbers, and that's such a key part of why we decided to do this, because over and over and over you keep seeing someone floors a really solid mint number that has, I always use, like, 3063, on a Spider-Man comic, ASM comic, to a lot of eyeballs, that's just a 3000 level mint edition number. It doesn't really mean a whole lot. However, March 1963, I mean, that's the release date of the book. And so anything that connects back to that has very historical significance. And a lot of people were missing that. And so we thought, well, what's a way that we can help before you maybe decide to list, and then all of a sudden a week later you see it reselling for 10x, or you realize what you just gave up? How can we impart on that decisioning so that you might want to at least just check what you could have? And there's so many great tools now. You can go to Grok and Google and chat and just say, what's significant about this number? You can do a lot of that yourself. And then if you want to come in and have it graded and have a third party sort of validate that, we go into some very deep levels of research to make sure that what we're putting out is as accurate as possible. And of course, if that helps educate the market a little bit, that's really what the core of what we started this whole thing for. It was very frustrating for me to see that happening over and over and over. And here I'm a guy, of course, I've been chasing mint numbers since VeVe.
Yeah, I was say, was it frustrating? Because you've been sniping those. Like, I see like a bunch of snipes.
Frustrating when I saw people realize, oh my God, right? And all the DMs that happened because of that, and all the things you see on social saying, I didn't mean to do this. I mean, there was always the issue where people put the decimal place in the wrong spot, and suddenly, $100 they were selling for 10 or $1. Oops. But the market learned from that relatively quickly. But then you started seeing people saying, I didn't realize what I just sold, and I want to see the space grow. I want to see everybody flourish. I want to see lots of excitement and interaction. And if this is one component along the journey to help that experience expand, I think that's such a key part. And the other issue too, right? I mean, we had the showrooming for the collectibles, but we never had anything to attach the comics to until the VeVeverse. But not everybody can be in the VeVeverse. It takes some time. You've got to have some good setup skills to, and just be willing to get in there and do that work, or contract it out. As we know, there's some great people that do that. But for a lot of people too, they just want to have an asset that they can have in their phone and say, that's mine. I got that. And look at how cool this is. And if that brings one or two more people into the space, and we always say too, a lot of people in VeVe didn't really know what all these comic books were. They didn't understand the historical significance of Amazing Spider-Man #4. What does that mean? Like I always say on my Go Collect article I wrote on Marvel Comics #1, a lot of people didn't know that book existed, or what 1939 means to Marvel. So having those conversations, and suddenly people might want to grade or slab just because it's fun. And suddenly, to your point, Randy, it brings it all the way back. Hey, maybe I want to get my physical book slabbed or graded. Maybe I want to go to a comic shop and buy the physical, so now I have both. So if we're able to start imparting, does that help CGC? Because now maybe I'm used to grading digital assets. Well, why don't I try it physically? Yeah. So you're opening up the market to more potential. And I think that's really exciting for us.
Yeah, I think you can grow together. Wampamus paper-handed the first public mint of the uncommon MC1. That is rough. Now he's not even sure who has it, but maybe they'll...
Yeah, so something that's interesting on that, the most popular submission we've had so far is the first public mint. So obviously traditional 41, we had one come through today, it was 21. So we actually grade that as a 9.9 on our green mint category. So we've respected, I suppose, the lineage of what the first public mint was meant to mean. And that's been, I think we've had a lot of great feedback on that.
Yeah. Those were early days, right? I mean, everything, there was nothing under a 41 for the most part. And a lot of those were held back. Now we know technically they exist. One day they could be released, but yeah, that's part of the reason, to Daniel's point, why we wanted to create all these different categories based on collecting style. It can't all just be, is there a historical significance? What about the clever jerks of the world that have the 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1s and the 88 collections like you just posted today? I mean, those things they're significant for so many reasons to people that you want to understand and have some influence on all that. So that's
I love him so much. Like you said, the super set number 88 matching digital set. So he's got the C3PO and R2D2 of both the golden moments and the new ones that they had, especially the R. So to have that, and he said shout out to Real Randy Chavez coming up with the super set term. Had myself on the back there. But his collection is probably worth like 8x what the floor is, just like or whatever, because like you were saying before, for the 3063, even if 99.9% of the people like kind of don't understand or don't care, all you need is a couple of people to care and that want it, and they're gonna like they don't care what the floor price is, they don't care what the people say, because they have the money and they drive the markets. And that's
someone just put this out. I think it might have been, was it Sean or Spencer at Comics and Crypto, about there's a gentleman that bought a warehouse in the States somewhere, and it has like thousands of long boxes and short boxes and physical comics and the whole thing. Like, I don't know, let's just say there's 100,000 books in there, but there might only be 1,000 of them that are graded, right? And that's the reality. Most people won't grade. They won't slab. I've got boxes all in the basement and all that, full of comic books and plastic baggies that are never going to go to CGC and all that. I just enjoy having them, and every once in a while I can take a peek at them and stuff like that. But some of the key pieces, you'll grade a couple of them, for instance. And that's also going to be the same with digital. You won't grade every single asset because, look, that's just a really, really random number that I bought because it was $1 to dollar cost average down the $50 book I paid. Right now I have 2 worth 25. So it's not always just, you want to grade everything. And I think over time, people will start to understand, this is probably worth me submitting, or it has such emotional value to me that I want to have it in a slab because it looks great. But yeah, not everything will come in. And that's part of the process too. We might have conversations back and forth with a potential customer that's submitting something, saying, this is why I see this as valuable. What do you guys think? Sometimes we want to double check. It's like, well, we're not sure what angle you're at here. And other people sometimes say, hey, you know what? I don't necessarily care if it's a 9.9. I'd be happy with a 9.1 or a 9.2, but it comes under that category because the color of the slab looks so great with the asset. I want to have that done. And you're actually building a new piece of artwork for a lot of people. And so, so there's so many different angles on this that are just fun to what we think improve the space, make it more enjoyable.
Yeah, this is why I really like what Pokemon, the old school stuff from WotC, the Wizards of the Coast, because for any of the new stuff that comes out, like I see this happen with every set. Someone will get a BGS Black Label 10 and they're like, bro, it's a 1 of 1. Well, the set's been out for 3 weeks. There's probably going to be more of those, and someone pays like $8,000, and then 10 weeks later they're selling for like $800, and it's like, if you would have just, and that's the risk you have with the newer stuff. But the older stuff, there can still be new grades and there can still be new, but the cost to get to that, somebody would have had to pay so much money to open up a box. You have to get lucky to get one of those. So yeah, that's why I think digital grading can also help, because like you said, my number 52,247 Fantastic Four number 1 common, probably not going to get that good a grade because it's a random number. It's super high. Maybe if they had a burning mechanism where you could burn some of the, but even still, there's 30,000 of these comics. So
and the burning obviously helps us. The fact that we're blockchain verified and can go and extract data out. We did Kingpin Mint 67. We did for his FA year. So 1967, which would have been the 10.0, was burnt. So we can upgrade that 67 to the 10.0. So again, I think it gives reassurance to the owner or whoever may be acquiring that piece in the future, knowing that that is the established 10.0 of a certain category, which is obviously a plus point with the digital side.
Yeah, it's such a big point too, because we're early in the space. We keep saying we've been doing this for some of us 4 or 5 years now with VeVe and whatnot, some longer, right? But the technology is still relatively new, where that whole point on scarcity isn't really well known yet. A physical book like Marvel Comics #1 is a great example. Back in 1939, August, 80,000 were printed physically, and they all sold out relatively quickly. So then in November 1939, they produced another 880,000. Now you've got 1 million. Now it's taken, who's good at math here, right? From 1939 to today, that many years to lose almost 90-something% of the supply. Like there's only about maybe a couple hundred left in existence, a few hundred. There's, I think, 65 on the CGC census that have been graded. Extremely rare today, but that could always be, you've got facsimile, reprint copies, right? You can always make more of these physicals. And on the digital side, you're capped, right? Once they're minted and that's it, we're only making 60,000 FF1s. Sounds like a lot because we're now used to being in an environment where VeVe was maybe cutting back on edition count because of its own user base, not the global user base, VeVe's user base. And I got to think over time, I say this routinely, there are more than 60,000 Marvel fans in the world who are going to know the significance of Fantastic Four #1, Marvel Comics #1, Amazing Spider-Man #1. 60,000 might not be that much. Because if you're a true diehard fan or a true Marvel collector, once you figure out what this means, you're going to want to at least own one. And maybe right now that's a great deal because they're under $20. That's an easy entry point for a lot of people that, we always talk about 2,000 might be easy for someone, 20 might be easy for someone, right? But that's a nice little entry point. And then to, Daniel's point, if they do get to a burn mechanism and they decide, hey, you know what, if you burn 10 of your Fantastic Four #1s and you get this, what a great thing. And then, we're able to track, oh, those ones are no longer in existence. Oops, somebody burned an 1161, right? November 61. It'll happen, but that's removed from inventory. And then, now you can enhance the significance of one of the other mint numbers that remain. So it's a part of the technology that hasn't existed in the physical space. And that's really the differentiator. We're not grading quality of the asset itself, bent pages, yellow pages, torn pages, missing pages. That doesn't come into this because they're digital assets. They're all, apart from the way the cover looks, the variants, they're pretty much exactly the same. What's the differentiator? The mint number. And it was right back to the beginning. And most of the things, even like on Bored Apes and all, I mean, they've all got a stamp of a number on the front. Well, that's an easy thing to now incorporate into a grading system. So how you do that, this is the way we do it at DGC, right? We've got our methodology. We've got how we break these things out and what's the value. There will probably be more that come out in the future, just like in physical. They may have their own angles and takes, but we've got a pretty exhaustive system that covers an enormous array of mint styles. And so, but it's fun. And the feedback that we're getting from the people that have done this has been tremendous too. So
I want to get to, I guess, because obviously the mint years are like the most important, but then artists' birthdays versus like writers' birthdays, and I'll get to that in a minute. But talking about burning, I did a bad once. Well, it was justified. There was this one dude that just was such a hater of mine, and I didn't know until somebody tagged me like, "Yo, this dude's like roasting you." And I go to his profile and I was like, oh, maybe it's the same name on VeVe. and he was like a 4, 5, 6 collector or something. And he's just like, yeah, you know, I don't really collect a lot, but I collect, and it might have been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it was. And for the Marvel Mighties, and I see one on the market, a Marvel Mighty for 4, 5, 6, and it was for like $50. It wasn't worth it at all. But I bought it, and I burned it for the Soul Gem, and this way he can never get it. And obviously, again, something I should work on, but I feel like that famous Batman Michael Caine quote, some people just want to watch the world burn. Have you seen that in comics where some people are just like, why would you do that? Why would you burn this? That's like have you seen that already? Have you seen it yet? Where they do it purposely?
I haven't seen on the purposeful burning, but I mean, initially, there was, you're always going to get FUD. I mean, it's just people like to be miserable for some reason, right? But like, you can't do this. Why would you do this? What a waste of time. It happened in, to put it in perspective too, right? Like CGC, the dominant grading company in the physical space, only launched their company in 2000. They went public on the grading in 2001. Like, it's only been around for 24, 25 years. It's not like it's not like it's been hundreds of years. It's still new itself, right? And evolving. They got a lot of flack when the guys at Comics and Crypto, remember, they put out their first grading chart. It was just rank. Where do you show up based on low mint to high mint? Great idea at the time, right? I mean, VeVe was giving bonus points for low mints, and so it made a lot of sense to jump in. And low mints on everything. This isn't just VeVe. If you've got, I know a guy that collects newspapers, right? He likes very specific date mints. Like, the numbers that people collect are all over the map, palindromes and all kinds of things. Low mints are always great, right? Hot off the press, back in the old days of printing magazines and papers and all that. As is like very high to last mint, the last 5 of a 60,000 run, the last one. Who is it that has the 60,000 on the MC1? I mean, stuff like that. It just very, very rare, very unique. But someone's always going to say, well, why are you doing that and all that kind of stuff. And then we just, smile on our face. Well, because it's fun. People enjoy it, right? So.
Yeah, and to be fair, whether most of the fudders have left, when we first launched this, we knew we were going to walk into the fire proverbially, and we did get some, real constructive and positive feedback, and we had some that were very honest and was like, I'm skeptical, I want to give it time, and when we totally understand and respect that. There was a small number that were like, how the F can you grade these? They're all the same. It's like, you've only got to go and look on X and see some of the bounties that get put about, and it's quite clearly obvious that the edition number and the importance of that can really be a thing. Yeah, so we did have, I shouldn't probably say their name, but I don't, I'm the man that don't care too much. But the racist fella that did that thing to Sanjay, I think it was Paul Villa. Like, he got in touch very early on. He's actually from the UK, and he got in touch very early on and was like, I want to know who's behind this, and he was trying to get all aggressive. It's like, look, I'll call you, we can talk, but you ain't going to get any demands from me. So there was a few characters like that, but they disappeared quite quick. And I think now we've left with people that, the ones that want to see this and want to enjoy it, and the early supporters and people like Iron Man 616, Rolex, Charlie, the list is long. We're doing this for them, I guess.
Yeah.
There we go.
We always like Todd McFarlane, right? When he was at WonderCon, was that last year? Right? His famous video in my world, right? It's like, if you don't like broccoli, you don't need to buy it at the grocery store. Just walk on by. But you don't go to the store manager and complain, why are you selling broccoli? Right? It's the exact same thing, right?
It's true.
Don't buy it if you don't want it, right? That's we're not forcing anybody. Nobody has to do this. It's not, and the other thing we always say, right, on the financial advice side, we're not grading or providing a valuation of the asset. That's market driven. The market will decide who's willing to pay what. To your point earlier, Randy, might only take one buyer that says, oh my God, I love that. That would look so great in my collection or my set. It matches this. I didn't even think of doing this. It's already done and set up. That's really what we're going for here. Just people that have a lot of passion and really want to enjoy the space. So
I'm sleeping, having some big comics that aren't great. I had Michelle Ivy on recently, who's the biggest Ninja Turtles collector in the world, probably the biggest fan in the world, and she has 2 original TMNT like first print comics. There's only 3,000 of those. One of them is used. Like she brings it to every con so that people can like actually touch it, not just see it and but actually like feel that history, which I can't wait to say. It must be wild. And then the other one she has is signed by both of the artists, and she said they'd probably get like a 9.8. I was like, that's probably like $100,000. And she's like, yeah, I know, but and I was like, and she's like, yeah, but if I do get it graded, I'll just keep it for my Turtles museum. And I was like, that is such a true fan, and I wish I kept that. And some of me has that. But speaking of which, I have a question about mints that are not the release year. So you have what's called Aliens vs. Avengers, came out I think last year, and it had I think it was last year. It had a 1,000 mint run for the digital collectible, but there was the secret rare cover this was Scotty Young cover, which is great. We love him. And then on top of that, the writer for it. Give me one sec. Alien vs. Avengers. Jonathan Hickman, who's like a legend in comic book writing. If we're talking about dates, like I don't know if their birthdays are out there on that. It should be. But what would you value higher? Would it be the Scotty Young birth date higher, or would it be the Jonathan Hickman birth date higher?
Well, it would depend on the relevance. So if it was the cover, so that secret rare, and then the secret rare had the birth year, or if it was the month year combo for Scotty Young, then we would be grading that higher than if it was a Hickman mint on the secret rare cover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So okay, that makes sense. So if it was like okay, yeah. I mean, obviously, if it's not his, if it's the ultra rare, then obviously it's Hickman's birthday, just because it wouldn't be Scotty Young.
Yeah, it's also like we get into the year alone, month, year, day, month, year. I think it was Sanjay just, what was it? 31839 on the MC1. So August 31st, 1939 is right, certainly when Marvel became Marvel from Timely and published that book. So again, it's a 38,000 level mint number that probably bypasses 99% of the eyes in the space. But somehow at that one moment in time, Sanjay's like, hey, isn't that the date? Probably picked that up at a nice price. I don't know what he paid for it, but that's also a very significant date itself, as would be, say, like a May 14th, 1944 for George Lucas. And it's also something that's a really good point you bring up, Randy, because it's not, we operate in a heavy Marvel space, of course, when we're talking about comics, because there's so many of them on VeVe, but you've also got Disney birth years and park opening years. And we had an interesting one right on the address for like Club 33. Like there's so many significant numbers that people are chasing or putting into their collections. And it's sometimes we take a little longer because it's a collaborative impact with, like, the team will get together on something like that and say, okay, where does this fit? Is this over here? Is this on this? Is this the best category? Like, we do go through a lot of stuff to make sure that we're accurate. But it's also, some people like incredibly accurate numbers, right? So in 1962 on an AF-15 is fantastic. That's the year. But what if you have the 862 or the 8062, August 62, when it published? So again, you can sort of go down. Now, what's going to happen? Your 1962 is going to appeal to everybody. The 862 is going to appeal to a few. Right. And so, but as you weed down, that market valuation then becomes something of more significance because you're so refined in that. And so that goes into part of the grading as well, right? Where would this actually come on that list, and how would it be graded and that type of thing? But
Yeah. And then the depth to it. So again, if you take like a Scotty Young cover, if you've got his year, I don't know what year he was actually born off the top of my head, but I say it was the 70s or 80s. There could be a palindrome of that. There could be a binary or an angel mint that references to Scotty Young in some fashion, or the comic book in some fashion. So there is a lot of depth that goes into the mint. So like Chris said earlier, at this point we're seeing a lot of the big hitters, the 9.6 to 10.0s that are coming, that are easier for us to grade. But then we've got an extensive backlog. I think I've got 7,500 collectibles on VeVe, and half of them are special mints in some guys. Some will hit a 7.5 or 6.5. So we know we've got a back book to test there. On that secret rare cover as well, not to give anyone too many hints, so this was the Aliens versus Avengers. So the other thing, which I think in time people will see, so we're going to be bringing out our census, so similar to Go Collect, where you'll be able to go on there, see what we've graded. It will give details about when it was graded, what the edition number was, what grading it got. And not every comic or item can get a 10.0. So you take that secret rare with 40 editions, you've got mint 33, which is the first secret rare public available. That will score high. You've got mint 111, which would be a nice binary on our reference. That will probably be one of the highest available. And then just looking something obscure on here, I think you've got 886. I might be wrong here. I think that's close to when the film Aliens come out. It's either July or August 1986. So it's them. It's that level. That might not be the highest grading grade, but the fact that it's got the Aliens reference to the movie, then we'll be looking in. That they're the sort of things we can look into and grade as well.
Yeah, and lots of fun ones too, because sometimes fandoms are fandoms. You know, and Star Wars is an easy one for me because I'm a big Star Wars guy. But you know, May the 4th. You know, so a 5.4, 54, it's a low mint. It grades great as a low mint, but it's also, you know, a reference to something that's significant in the Star Wars fandoms. So little things like that creep up all the time. Movie references, Stanley Kubrick numbers in some of the films he produces. If you're a fan, David wrote a really great article that if he watches this, thanks again for allowing us to do this. We repurposed it onto Go Collect about the future of NFTs. And I really believe he nailed it. It's not going to always be about the finance, although it's definitely a part of it, but it's the fandom that drives it, right? People will come in because they're fans. So this recent, you know, oh my God, the new influencer that does all the Marvel reviews. Sorry, his name's gone right out of my head. I watch.
Oh, the Newsweek guy?
No, he's a YouTuber.
Yeah, the Rockstar.
Rockstar. Yeah, everything Rockstar.
Oh, let me find it.
Yeah, so guys like that.
Yeah, new Rockstars.
New Rockstars, right? So that Emergency Awesome, like a lot of these guys that I watch, it's they're for fans who want to know every single detail that's coming out about, let's just say, Marvel for this purpose. And if Marvel says, hey, we're involved in this space, when I used to write these articles on Go Collect going back a few years ago, like, boy, I got some flack. I had people DMing me and emailing the articles back. And it's expected a lot of times when you have something new, you're either going to embrace it or you're going to be fearful of it. The fear tends to be louder than the embracers. And so you do put up with a little bit of that, but it was never negative. There was never arguments. It was always like, look, I understand your opinion and I appreciate it. Here's why I see it this way. And it's just a long education process, right? But eventually it all connects back to the fandom. And I'm like, look, I'm just a guy writing about this. It's Marvel that decided to okay this with their marketing teams and their legal teams and their ownership teams and say, this platform is exciting. This is something that makes sense to us. Let's work with these VeVe guys. and see how it goes. And here we are 5 years later, still going. Right? So, plus, what are we up, like over 200 brands? This is it's incredible when you think about. I've been marketing for 25 years. It's hard to secure one client to do anything. And VeVe seems to have a model that is approachable, excitable. It's working for everything. I'm having a blast in it. At the end of the day, like I've always said, collect what you love. Don't put yourself in hock because you're chasing stuff you can't afford. But if it all went to zero, of course I'd be upset. But I still have all the fun, the friends. Randy, we met because of this. I met Daniel because of this. All the people that I've met through this, that's the connection that binds us all together. And if we're having a little extra fun doing it, hey, why not? Right. So that's how I see this. So it's all these different pieces connecting into this space, which we're helping build. And that's the focus for the next bunch of years.
You're right. And it sounds very sentimental and romantic, but one of the cool things about doing some of these, like we've just done Rolex's 11 one-of-ones. And some people might say, like, why grade a 1-of-1? It's obvious that what it's going to be, but we can put it under a gold label, we can do it as a 10.0, but then we can actually build a frame around it, we can customize it, and really put something out there that he said it himself when he got back to me. It's like it enhances his collecting experience versus what it is. It looks great on the app. He can put it in the VeVeverse, etc. But this just takes it another step. Which is pretty cool. The biggest bro as well had a really good question about the Elvira.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, so I don't think at the moment VeVe has burnt the remaining, because there was only a select number of these comics that got distributed, wasn't there? I think there was about 80 or 90, maybe a bit more. So the way we would grade something like that is we would again be somewhat dictated to by the burn. So we would still put it through our formula. We would grade as it would grade if it had the 1,000 editions available, publicly available. The moment though a burn takes place, or if VeVe come out and say no more of those comics are going to be distributed for X, Y, Z, that's where we can obviously focus more on the ones that were minted. I'm very, very keen on this because I was fortunate to pick up what is currently the last mint, and that was also the first one that was minted on the blockchain for that comic on the common. So I'm hoping they will burn at some point, but it's a good question.
Yeah, hopefully we I know I've been getting flack for it, but I've been saying for a while, ever since VeVe Comics came out, that I think it's a possibility that we're able to get that we're able to get DC Comics on there, because they, especially now, because you have, I think it started with Palm NFT, and then it went to DC NFT, and then they were acquired by Candy, and then they were acquired by Futureverse, and now Futureverse is dead, but Candy's still active. They have a bunch of sports cards on there, and you can get stuff so cheap on Candy right now because everyone's like, oh my god, our assets might go to zero because we might not get gobbled up, or we might not. I think the assets will go somewhere, especially now that VeVe has a collect chain coming out. But yeah, give me your take on how you grade something on VeVe versus how you grade something on Candy. Let's say DC Comics, because if you have one platform's better than the other, does that affect the grade regardless of the comic that you're grading?
No. So we will grade as long as it's got an edition number system, which virtually all on a blockchain should have. It doesn't impact our grading formula. It will again focus on the edition size, the relevance of the edition numbers to that item, be a comic or a book or a collectible. So we can grade any platform. Like the moment we went live with this, we got reached out to by big collectors on Candy, Panini, Pudgy Penguins. There was a few others. We made the conscious effort to stick to VeVe in the interim because we bleed blue. We've got a great relationship with David and the team there. Like for us, it just makes a lot of sense focusing on VeVe at this point. But in theory, you take your comic, Randy, that you're going to bring out. That's going to have edition numbers to it. that can be graded.
Let's talk about that.
We'll talk about
so we have the DACAT, and we have a couple people here that are super excited about DACAT, and they can't wait for the comic. I just talked to Metaverse Life about this because he's got his collectible just sold out. His decon drop. I think they made 20-something thousand on that, which is great. And yeah, they're awesome. So I figuring with that now, if you got the secret rare, you got like a physical one. And there's some people at Decon that got it. They were able to get it signed by people, and we're gonna do something like that for DACAT. But DACAT, there's probably only going to be 2,026 mints.
Okay.
So it's not going to be like one of these 10,000 or 5,000 or even 3,000 things. Like you have Silver Surfer #3, first appearance of Mephisto, and there's only 3,000 of them in circulation.
Right.
A bunch of them are burned. But for this, it should all sell out. I think the first 10 are kept by VeVe, and the first mint is going to be number 11. There's going to be 80 secret rares. So with this, so my birthday is 1990, but I'm just the writer, and a lot of times you guys say like the artist, that tends to be a bit more important. I don't know what, I think it's probably 1980, maybe 1970 something. The guy that's doing the art. How do you do something like this? Because I don't think anything like this has happened before, where it's one of the biggest influencers for VeVe, writes a comic for VeVe, winner of the most recent VeVe awards, and
beautiful.
I want David or VeVe to buy 10% of the DACAT IP because it's going to go bananas. Yeah. But yeah, how do you grade that? How do you which mint numbers? Is it the 2026? Probably. We're going to have a bounty on that as well. And does that affect it? Does somebody say like, hey, I don't know the reason they have a bounty on this one, like number 69 for the lols, 420 for the blaze it? Right. Do bounties affect your grade? And yeah, DACAT, explain.
Yeah, a lot of the way we've graded, you know, Chris is, well, I'm in the circle of mint hunters that you know what things are valued at. So even though we're not saying, right, we're going to grade something and because of that it's going to have the highest value, but ultimately we know we are grading based upon popularity. So yeah, publication year 2026 naturally will have a bounty. I've on that point, like what are you thinking the bounty will be? That's going to be a $2,500. Could you see a bounty going out on that? Maybe more.
So we have for the DACAT Chronicle. There's two pots of money. There's the DACAT main wallet that has a bunch of DACAT tokens. But I think like it has some Ethereum.
Okay.
And that's it. But the DACAT Chronicles, like this IP wallet, has like $1 trillion of DACAT, or not $1 trillion DACAT, which is like I don't know, like $1,000. It's really small. It's like it might be like $2,000. Really small amount. But then it has, I think, like 4.5 million OMI. Might be more. And then there's also some DEVVE on there, and we'll get some Definity on there as well. And I think by the time the comic comes out, so we have 1,000 DEVVE tokens at, let's say, like $5. Let's say it comes out in Q1 of next year. You know, that's $5,000, and like we'd rather sell the other stuff on our other stuff on our balance sheet as opposed to DACAT, because you don't want to create sell pressure. And yeah, we'll probably use that. And if some of our stuff like OMI or DEVVE or Definity goes high enough, we might have some extra play money. Like we'll go to New York Comic Con next year and DCon next year, like as a DACAT. We'll use the funds from that. But yeah, some of them might go to. So some of them might go to buybacks or not buybacks. Well, that too, but for these bounties, there'll be some personal ones for me. Like I want to get the number 69, so I'll throw like a $500 bounty on that, and hopefully nobody outbids me. But yeah, the actual company will buy.
Well, and it's a great point. Like mint 69, you know, that's going to hold more relevance because it's you. So you know, if it was mint 69 on Fantastic 450, still a nice mint, but it's going to have a higher one because it's got your association to it. Like the reason I said about like how much the bounty could potentially be on 2026, the importance of edition numbers. You know, if VeVe were releasing edition number 1, you know, how would that stand up? You know, would we all of a sudden see a shift like you do on DC Candy, where that could be more prominent and more expensive than the 2026 potentially. But yeah, your comic is going to be a nightmare for us to grade, but every edition number is gradable. So, you know, you could even have it where the price of the cat at the point of launch, whatever that number associates to, will be gradable. There will be someone in our community that will go and try and pick that up. So I welcome the challenge. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We'll do. I've already told the cat community. I haven't told anyone that. I'll earmark 1 million OMI specifically for buying back certain mints. So like we're gonna have there'll be bounties, but there'll also be utility for certain mint numbers. Because it's not just us in this book. There's Chaos on the Chains. There is and they were around since last year, so they might want the 2024 mint comic. There's Sharby, which I think started in like 2022, 2023. And then there's Crappy Bird. I don't know when they were CTO. They have a very weird history. But if you get certain mint numbers or certain covers, whatever, we'll give you like probably ETH or even OMI for that. So some people will have it, and they might get it for two reasons. They might get it just to get it graded, and they also might get it for a bounty. They also might get it for the utility that it comes with. But we want to buy back. I mean, again, however much 1 million OMI is worth at that time. Right now, it's not worth any. It's like $180, $190. But if it's, let's say 001, and so that like, okay, we have $1,000 that we can play with in the secondary market, whatever people sell for on Stacker. By the way, how has that affected the business and stuff now that there's no cash out in gems, only cash out in OMI? A bunch of stuff is rising for gems, and it's rising a little bit on Stacker, but for gems, things are going insane.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not seeing it in terms of the volume of requests that we're getting. They're continuously increasing. I think having I came into VeVe because of the easy button factor, right? Just being able to throw in my credit card. I mean, back in the day it was Apple Pay, and we all hated the fee that we had to pay, right? And then that was fixed with the credit cards. You had another payment rail that you could now use. And then that brought in guys like me, where I knew crypto, I followed crypto, I own crypto, but it was a nightmare to get it. I hated that lag between buying it and then it showing up in your wallet. Horrible times, right? But now that's refining and it's smoothing out, and OMI opens up the whole crypto market space. And so you're just going to have I think a wider array of overall audience, because you have preference for how you can come in and choose. And there might be an advantage right now because of the price points that, you know, if that decides to have another run and you were getting in at some pretty attractive rates right now, that's another benefit, right?
Yeah. I must admit, I've been surprised by the amount of submissions we've had to date. You know, we've been going just over 2 months now, and since we've had it as paid submissions with our intro pricing, which is about 4 weeks ago, you know, we're almost at 500 submissions. You know, it has tested us, which has been great. But we've not seen much of a difference with the recent price hike. But what we have seen is some individuals use their graded item to go and market their item for sale, which has been quite cool. So Charlie Fisher, he just recently sold his lowest edition mint of Avengers 1, and potentially sold at more of a premium because of the focus that we've given it, which is pretty cool. So even though we're not designing it for that reason, you know, again, Sean, when he hit the 1-of-1 stamp, you know, we're a sponsor of Comics and Crypto, so it's a natural evolution. But he's like, could you quickly grade this for me? I want to just put it out as a visual, just in case someone sees that and they actually feel like they want to buy it because of that.
Like there is a visual appeal that's undeniable. It's the same reason somebody very often will grade and slab a physical copy, right? Like we said earlier, I'm not going to grade and slab all of my collection. I'm going to do a handful of them, but I'm so proud of them. But of course, what comes with that? You've got Go Collect that tracks graded physical sales. And so that helps the marketplace, because now you've got a bit of a reference point, and you've got something people will purchase because it's protected, it's visually appealing. That same thing can happen here, and that was a bit of a, we were saying, a bit of a shortfall with the VeVe showroom when they couldn't display comics. Well, what do? I just take a screen grab basically of the image from the app or the site and throw that up on X. And now you've got something that, I mean, it's spinning. It looks great. They're 3D. You can zoom in and out. You've got character at the top. The marketplace is a bit of a challenge for a lot of people because I cannot tell you why that 3063 mattered to me and why I'm asking 10X over the floor. Some people just look at that going, oh, he's trying to make a sale and hope somebody buys it. We don't have like a Facebook marketplace that I can describe why. This helps that, right? Because now I can actually describe in the category, in the header of the slab, here's what that means. And for a lot of people, sometimes that's all you really need to support it. And it's a third party that said, yeah, you know what, we agree. That's a great number. And actually it's a little better than you thought it was, or whatever might happen from that. That's how we can help influence maybe the market a little bit so that people can transact better, more efficiently. That's something that's lacking right now. And so just another step in the evolution of the whole system of how this is rolling out. Right?
Yeah. And again, back to your point with the cat comic, Randy, I think what was really great is for people like us who are in the space and we're trying to make innovations and bring things out, you get it. You know what people tick when it comes to collecting. So to have it where there's those chasers within chasers and being able to hit a certain edition number, and it could be completely random, and that will qualify for some utility. I think that's incredibly generous and incredibly cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we have Pro the Doge that has like 50 million OMI. So he's in it, and he's got his own cover. So Greg Wyke from Beyond Comics did a cover for us, and so this hasn't been released yet. But that's
wow. Okay.
So that's it. It's really good. I don't know if that's going to be a secret rare or the common. Might make him the common because that's a really good cover, and that's he's a super popular guy in general. And he's all about this. But yeah, so we basically just took the normal app.vv.me, like every Wednesday it comes out, there's 1,000 mints, and we took that breakdown and essentially just doubled it, and then add an extra 26 for the because that's how many mints we want to have.
If you considered a one-of-one artwork, is that going to be something that will?
Yeah.
Honestly, we probably have this as a one-of-one artwork, but
I would be putting a bid in for the one. Yeah, definitely.
But that one-of-one, it looks great for VeVe because David has these sales of thousands of dollars go on his website. It's not on the app, it's on the website, and it happens like every week, every couple of weeks. And there's a couple of whales that, like Rolex, like you said, has 11. I just talked with Dr. Fuse recently that I don't know how many he has, but he bids on all of them. But Michael Bauman keeps on like outbidding him, and he's like, "Bro, can you like f off? Like, can I have one, please?" And I was like, "I'll get to 20, then I'll stop." And then like he didn't stop; he just kept going. But so I forgot to send it. What, David? Wait, what? So I guess Gary Baseman had, this is like a one-of-one. I don't know if it's a one-of-one, but Santos just sent this to me. Actually, my buddy of mine has a Gary Baseman one-of-one.
That's sweet.
It was like one of the first one-of-ones ever. That's so cool. Anyway, so yeah, the collectors, because there's 19 first appearances in this comic that's coming out. So I know not all of these characters will be loved, but some of them are really freaking cool.
Yeah.
The only ones we didn't make up was Pro the Doge, Crappy Bird, Chaos on the Chains has one named Tsunami, and then Sharby. Outside of those, the rest of the 15, like, they're all original ideas from me. And I don't know if I showed you.
Yeah.
Did you
tell you
cat tattoo. You can't see it.
I see it.
But But yeah, this will be really exciting.
Did you get it in Vegas?
Actually,
was that
no, I got this in Orlando.
Yeah.
Showed people off in Vegas. But I'll send you guys a physical before it comes out, and then if you guys could leave like a review. So I do this with Sleeping Comics, Comics and Crypto, probably Rolex, Metaverse Life, and then you guys, and then just leave an honest review. Be like what you like, what you dislike, what you would have done different, what was awesome. Like, oh, this was really cool. Because I want that honest review. And I think it'll mean more if there's like something where it's like, this could have been different, as opposed to just like a fluff piece where people are like, oh yeah, Chavez is just getting his friends to pump it up.
I am one of the most fickle comic book guys, if I could even call myself a comic book guy. If it's got flashy colors and it's retro and nostalgic, I don't care about the story half the time. I'm just drawn in by the fanciness of it all. So, but no, I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to have a read.
Yeah.
Be advised, it is 80 pages. It might actually be more. So apologies for the lengthiness of it. So here's just an example of some of the artwork.
More time enjoying reading. That's great artwork.
So is issue 1 complete? Is that actually fully complete now?
No, we've done we've edited like 50 or 60 pages of it. The other stuff is just, so the battle, there's a big battle at the end, and that he said it. I feel like I wasn't rushing it, but he said it was like a little rushed. So I have to just add some things in there, which is fine. I feel like people are fine with more action. And it might be like 85 pages or 90 pages, because there's why it went so long is because, one, there's 19 first appearances, but also it's kind of dialogue heavy. Like there's a lot of stuff to actually read, which again is, and sometimes like dialogues had to be made like 2 pages.
I think I've seen that. You might have shown that panel before. That character reminds me of Toe Jam and L. Do you remember that game on the Sega? Oh no!
Yes.
There was a game from the early 90s. You have to Google it. Toe Jam and L. That character is almost identical, and that's one of my favorite games of all time.
There's your nostalgia respark.
Send it to me. It's got a 10.0 review.
Okay.
That's him. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
That's okay. I kind of want to play this. I want to see what. I love video games.
It's a classic. The first one is the best one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I would totally play. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. You can send me a copy of a comic, but it's already got a 10.0 rating. So I don't. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Maybe we get Randy to sign one, grade it up, slab it up, do a giveaway.
So the signed ones. Yeah. So we're probably just going to do 10 of them. So me and the artist, and this is what I really like. There's one writer and one artist, and we're going to do all the DACAT ones. So the only thing is, like, he's out in the UK as well somewhere. I don't know where. But to ship it from me to him or from him to me and then ship it somewhere else, it's like there's a lot of chance for it to get a little messed up. So I think when we do it, one of us will make a trip, and this way we'll have that comic in there, and then we'll sign all 10 of them, and then we'll do that.
You can obviously do digitally signed ones as well. We did one, say for Evermind 1, which is the 24/7 guys. We had Daniel Wu and Sean Chen sign the edition number 2024, which is their publication year. So they actually digitally signed it. We slabbed it, and we did it as a giveaway as part of their Kickstarter.
So how does that? So you value, like, they published it in 2024 physically, but it didn't come out until 2025. Or did
Evermind 1 was 2024. So
okay, it was okay. So I think there's like 4 of them out now. I read the first 2. Each one had a oh shit moment where I was like, no heck, you read those, right?
Yeah, I just finished number 4 a couple of days ago. Like,
bro, when I had him on the podcast, I was like, who wrote this? Like, are they okay? Like, this is wild. Yeah, and he's been on a few times. I freaking love that dude.
Is it what Sean Chen?
Yeah.
John,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's that the right, like, oh my God, that for those of you that don't know, I can't even spoil it. I don't even know if I could talk about it without getting banned. You gotta go on and read it, because
it's a great series. It's a great series. That's
yeah.
part of why, like with DACAT, right? You introduce something new and you hook. I tried the first one. I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. It's new, right? I always like to support VeVe and the new artists that come in, and I said I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed it, and so then I'm buying them. There's certain covers that I might like more than others, which I might, if I'm only going to buy one, I might get the rare, the ultra rare for something. But all of a sudden, you start aligning with certain characters, and you really get into the story, and then it hits you, right? Like, holy I did not see that coming, right?
Yeah.
And that's from a comic book. That's why I always say, read your books, people. If you've got them, read them. They don't degrade on digital, right? Just enjoy it. Get in there, and it's the best way to support the artists and the writers is to read the books, right?
So
I've really been enjoying this one. It's good. It's been good.
Yeah. After Brexit, I had a very strange Pokemon business decision that I had to make, because if my clients wanted to go in and buy something for $5,000, they had to pay like a $1,500 import tax in the UK. Do they still have that? Like,
well, Canada, yeah, we've got Oz here with the shipping costs. I mean, right now with the fun with the tariff stuff going on, it's more expensive to ship in and out of Canada sometimes than the product itself. And so it's very difficult. And that's again, I mean, we're biased digitally, right? But that's a huge advantage. If I don't have a shipping cost, but I can still own the asset.
Let me, if you guys are doing this, you or me, and you had ownership of this IP, and you knew the digital would sell out, and you like, okay, you have a physical. Now the profits from the physical would, like, none of it would go to me or the artist. It would just all go into like the kitty that is the that is the balance sheet of the IP, and it would be used for the community or buybacks. Put some other stuff on the balance sheet. Would you try to go to VeVe and say, like, hey, you guys have done things with artists where if you get a secret rare, you get to ship out, these 1 of 25s or 1 of 50s. Would you do that if say, like, hey, I'll give you a share of the profits of this if I have VeVe go and ship it out, and if they take the snapshot?
Well, they've got Whatnot set up, haven't they? So like whatever, what is it? Whatnot, their online channel.
Oh, that's true. They do.
Yeah. So there was a conversation over David about California comics and about how that could interact in that way. Like it's not something we're looking at developing just yet. But yeah, that I'm assuming is probably the opening gateway to do exactly that. Because that must be all getting shipped from a central place. I don't know where, and I'm guessing all the costs. I don't know if the person buying it takes on the cost of the tax. I'm guessing they do the cost of the tax and the postage and whatnot. But then that's one less headache for you.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because when you look at Planet Death, for instance, wildly successful physical release that somewhere right around 1 million copies. But I think VeVe only released 2,500 for the 2,500 year.
Yeah.
2025.
They both sold out. I mean, the physical sold out, the digital sold out. It was a massive success, but that only 2,500 digital exists, so there's an advantage there. And then when Mickey Swagelhaus, when he released Sanity on, I remember Gary O. Gary, if you're watching this, shout out again, because I think it was you that snapped this video, posted it, where Swagelhaus is walking back from the show. I think it was 2024 New York Comic Con, And he's like, look, I just dropped this on VeVe. It basically sold more in revenue than what I had generated from the Kickstarter program to produce the physical. This was a massive eye opener, and it was instantaneous, right? And so there's a definite advantage on doing the digital drop as well. And then, yeah, how do you connect the pieces to make it even more compelling? People are like, I've got a signed copy of Sanity, and so now I've got both, and I love it. And that does to me, it means it's going to be really difficult for me to ever sell one or the other because they're a nice little match, right? And so I'm a collector of those for life. And someone mentioned this early on too, right? Like I hadn't bought a comic book in over 20 years, and I used to buy a lot. And then VeVe showed up, and I was back into the market again, buying. But buying stuff that, like, I don't own $1 million copy of Fantastic Four #1. I own the reprint, the facsimile, but that's one that I don't have. But when I look at my digital collection, I have some very, very significant mint numbers on that book because now I can finally do it. And that to me is the whole reason the digital has been so fun and bringing me back in. And now I've got physical books again, and I'm reading comics. And shout out to VeVe. I know they put the reader back on the desktop, which guy like me with old eyeballs, that's so much easier to see and enjoy. And right, the space is fun. At the end of the day, it's so fun, right? And so,
well, and talking about fun, I see one of the videos that come out from the Vegas Con, and they were doing people doing their Mount Rushmore of comics and collectibles. Did you do yours, Randy? Have you got your top 4 there?
Yeah, I would say so. Partners is arguably one that double first appearance is insane. Now that we have interoperability, like last time you had somebody that was willing to trade his Bored Ape Yacht Club, which at the time was like $400K, was willing to trade his Bored Ape for a first appearance Mickey. And I don't know if he really cared that much about Walt, but he's like, okay, first appearance Mickey. And then he realized we couldn't self-custody. He's like, never mind. But that person might come back now. Now, granted, those things are probably only worth like 50K and not 400K. But either way, I think that the rebalancing of some of these prices is going to come heavy with a vengeance. And I think Partner's definitely going to do that, because you didn't really hear that for Spider-Man, which is interesting because Spider-Man's like the most popular superhero ever. So definitely Secret Rare Spider-Man, definitely that. I probably Todd, not because he's worth so much. I think you can, although now he's worth like 500 something in gems, but I think like 350-ish in OMI. But a bunch of layers there. First Batman ever, first Todd ever on the blockchain, and then it's the first one that VeVe ever had. So that again, that's really special. And then the honorable mentions: Superman, Miles Morales. But I think the gold silver logo, like we just got gold coins. I have them in my bag over there. The amount of, we've probably gotten thousands of dollars worth of redemptions from having that logo, and the people that are in that group are just so crazy smart and special, and they're just so helpful. And obviously, not everyone, but most people in there, they're super welcoming, and it's like a little mini family, because you have these get-togethers every year, and that's how you kind of guarantee yourself some FaceTime with David and Dan, and no other collectible really has that. So I would say those 4 for collectibles. Comics, AF-15, Fantastic Four #1, MC1, and then I don't know, give me a 4th.
Daredevil 1.
I love Daredevil.
I had to throw that out there. It's my fave.
Yeah, but I think if we're talking collectibles, mine is very much with a collector's at heart hat on. Like for me, the Marty's hoverboard, that was the first thing I bought when I come onto the app. I've actually got, I don't know which one I prefer more. I've got 89, which is obviously Back to the Future 2, and then I've got Mint 2015. So 2015 is when it actually was made in the film. So I think that's definitely on my Mount Rushmore. I've got the R2D2, the original, not the Golden Moment, the other one. I've got Mint 1976, which, if you know the Star Wars novelization from the Adventures of Luke Skywalker, that's his FA date. I've got the Rambo 3 poster. It's 88 editions, and I've got mint 88.
Nice.
Which year it come out. And then I think if I was picking my fourth, I'd probably have to go with a recent Ryu. I managed to get 87. I sniped that quick off the market for
nice
2-digit FA. Yeah, I think they would be my 4. But is yours, Chris? Is it just Daredevil, or is it
much a lot of Daredevil?
Yeah.
I have the 64. I have so many 64 references on the comic. I've got the 64. I can't remember what it's 646, 641 on the collectible. But I mean, Mount Rushmore, I'd have to add more heads. I'd have to buy more mountain. 4 is, it seems like a lot, but I mean, Vader ultra rare, by far my first favorite. My Mickey 1928, the Steamboat Willie ultra rare reference. To me, that's just animation came from that. The whole world that I live and breathe in from a marketing perspective, and everything we know today came from pages flipping with a mouse, right? I mean, it's insanity. My X-Wing 77 FA reference. I mean, I turn it on just because that spatial sound that they put in it, hearing that engine. Oh my God. I've got a 77 Luke lightsaber. I've got posters. It just goes on and on. My DeLorean 8801, my 88. As soon as you go to 1 mile over, you're gone. And that was the FA of the DeLorean. That's such a iconic piece. I know you talk about Back to the Future. It reminded me of that. Yeah, just the list is long. The list is long, but yeah. And then in the comic sides, my August 39 MC1s, my November 1st 61 FF1s. Denis and I, if you're going to watch this, hello again. We met through VeVe. Another friend of mine lives here near Vancouver, and we went in on the 1962 ASM 4 together. It's a rare. The first appearance of Sandman, which is one of my favorite Spidey villains. I mean, that was just to be able to have some of those pieces. It's incredible, really. And time will tell, right? But these are holds, 10, 15, 20 years. We're going to look back, and if we're right, that's real wood, right? Kids will be happy, right, to have some stuff to pass along. But that's why, I mean, there's something for everyone, and it goes back to the fandom, right? Some people are bigger Disney fans than Marvel or Star Wars and what have you. I know Hananu's got all the Battlestar Galactica and the Star Trek. Everyone's got something, right? But then I look back, I've got a massive set of coins in the basement from when my grandfather was in the Royal Canadian Navy, and he was on a destroyer, and every port of town they went to throughout the war, he would collect coins from all the ports of call that he went to, and he has this stack. And then there was a scene in Saving Private Ryan. I can't remember the sergeant's name there, but
with the dirt,
he's collecting the dirt, and I'm just like, geez, that's what my granddad did. Oh my God, right? And it was just that moment. And so then you go down and you start looking through the coins, and you're enjoying the coins, and like, it's a wonderful world of collecting, right? Because sometimes your memories are fleeting. The older you get, the more that's in here, and it becomes a retrieval problem, is how I identify it, right? But you see these things and they connect you right back. And that's why humans have collected since, as far as we know, there were humans, because it reminds you of stuff. And that's, to me, again, another reason why the mint numbers become so important. There's lots of examples of people that they don't buy the mint number because they're looking to flip it or make a fortune off it. They're buying it because it's their birth year, or the year they got married, or whatever that their kids were born. Oh, wow.
With my Operation Iraqi Freedom little 25-cent token there that you could use at, like, the on-base PX. And
sweet.
Yeah. So I feel like everyone in the military, we do that to some extent. We just take a little piece with us.
Would you, if you had the opportunity to be digitalizing that, similar to like Fandom will do, and put that in as an NFT, would you do that?
Well, what happens with the physical? I do it.
Well, I suppose fanable, it goes to the Brinksville, but it just for a keepsake, it would be you'd keep the physical, but you'd have the digital as well.
Let's see, why not? I mean, if I get to keep physical and then I just create a new memory of that, then yeah, that'd be cool. I'd totally do something like that. I mean, I've had offers for like several $100s for this, and it has like my name on it. It's not like you can like scratch out the name and do it. And I was like, maybe I should, because I have the digital. I don't know. Yeah, there's a couple things that I don't know where that goes, because you essentially create a lot of value out of, I don't want to say nothing, because you're getting something for it. Like they have this with Pokemon stuff. Like I had the physical PSA 10 trophy Kangaskhan. You know, does the digital, if I digitalize, like, does that automatically mean what happens if you get that? Like, that's not officially licensed. Like, I don't know. I guess I'd have to see. Yeah, try it with something like that, and then see how the market responds. And then if they respond really well, okay, let's create money out of thin air. Let's do it with everything.
Yeah.
Create a digital version of Daffy.
I actually I was up in a category for the VeVe Awards for VeVe versus Builder. I don't know why I was in there. It's baffling still. I had a message from Charlie Fisher at 4 a.m. I think it was, on the day the awards are taking place, and he sent me a 60-second video with the words "congratulations." I woke up. I was like, no fucking way. Like what? But I come fourth, and he was giving me congratulations for that, which was nice. But yeah, that's pretty sweet. So what are you going to do with the trophy? Is that going to be buried with you one day? Is that going to be an heirloom?
Well, I have the digital up for 69,420,000 OMI, which is like $13,000.
The digital of what? The digital of that trophy.
Yeah, so there's like 15 of them. Let me see so we got cards for a bunch of stuff. Like it was all stuff that had come out already. It was like a Gary Baseman Toby doll. It was but it was like kind of grayish, and they were like either one of 63s or one of the one. So here's it's weird. It's not showing the picture of it. But somebody has it on VeVe for like $50K, and then my floor price $69,420, which is like $13K. And it's one of 15. So I have the number 15, but I don't think anyone would pay that for that. But I think if I have it up there, they might be like, hey, I won't give you 69 million OMI for it, but maybe I'll give you 20 million OMI for it.
Yeah.
And obviously right now it's like $3,800, $3,600, you know, and that's not a lot, but I think that $3,800 goes to $380K, you know, next year when it does 100X.
If you want to sell it, why don't you grade it and slab it and slam that on X? You know, that will get you a buyer.
How do we do that? How do we grade it? And
we can take care of it.
We'll work out a deal.
Yeah, we're actually doing so I was on a shout out to Bill Gardner and VeVe Zombie. I was on their stream on Monday. They're really, I know you know them, really cool guys. So we're doing Bill's gold and silver logo. It's going to be the first ever graded gold and silver logo. It's I want to say it's mint 255, so it's got no necessary importance in terms of the mint number. But what we're going to do is
okay. So for people that are wondering, what are the prices in general for it? Like, is there a difference between like a comic versus like a Grail comic?
Yeah, we're doing intro price until the end of the year. It's $15 for the slab and the card. So we do like a grading card, similar to a Pokemon card, you could say, is like a certificate. That is pretty much that's everything barring artwork, and the artwork is $20. So the individual will get it graded, they get it slabbed, and then they'll get the grading card. But what we're doing with Bill is we're going to do it on what we call our clear label. So where we remove a grade and we'll actually just do it as a full presentation. So you probably know his story of selling precious metals to get his gold silver logo.
Yeah.
And now he's actually come full circle and got the coin of precious metal. So we're going to do a piece on that customizes that, and it sort of just tells a story of what's meaningful to him. Yeah, so and I think for us, when we launched this, none of this is about short-term gain. Like, it wouldn't work if it was. So we've done the intro pricing just to pretty much test the market and just cover some of our costs. And we can do, I don't know if you've seen, we've been doing a lot of giveaways of late. So Crypto Cosmo just hit the Nova 1. So you remember when they did Nova 1, the comic, a few months back? Yeah. So VeVe kindly gifted me the 1976 mint off the back of that. Yeah. There was a bounty out there for comics and crypto for 1,000. I had 1,300 on it. We've done that as a giveaway, and Crypto Cosmo hit, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But my point being is that we're here to give rather than take.
Okay. So let me know how do we pay you? Is it via Venmo? Is it OMI? Is it
we're all barring 5 payments have come through OMI. So we spoke with Foster about setting up an OMI burn as part of this. So that's been pretty good. Like, I've only become an OMI homie since VeVe announced it was all going to transition a few months ago. So but OMI's been, obviously it just makes a lot of sense. All
right, dope. We'll get that.
Just a DM to you, right, Daniel, is the easiest way through X?
But at the moment we've got our website in the works. We'll have a submission filter through our website, but at the moment we're just doing it via DMs, which is easy enough.
Okay, cool. So let's get that, Brett. Send me the wallet address. I'll get you some OMIs, and then we'll.
No, I think it's only that you've hosted us. Yeah, I think call it part of your winning in that. I think we can grade that one for free for you.
Okay, all right, I'll take that.
So number 15, is it?
Yes, 15 out of 15. It's the last one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, that'd be awesome. And then, all right, let's talk off camera for a bit, and then everyone say, "Where's Dashy?" Dashy's over in.
Where is Dashy? I haven't seen Dashy in the background for a while.
Yeah, Dashy's in Ohio, so we got. I'll be back there next week to get that bread. All right, everyone, thank you for joining. This has been great.